you're ashamed because what happens when you're thrown into a hole? Now, anything that I throw down onto you, what? It creates a level of confusion. Like, think to the Lord when the Lord rained down upon us for the first time. How many individuals was confused as hell? Water coming down from the top. You know how to deal with that. You're confused because you're in the place, you're in a pit, you're in a hole. You see?
And if I may add on that, because even confusion happens when you rebel against the Lord. That's what really happened, because the Lord, he's not a power of confusion. He's a power of straightforwardness, simplicity, knowing things that's really supposed to be. But once you start going against it, then you start to lose your weight, for the lack of better words.
And all he's doing is raining down understanding. Yeah. Understanding which is too high. It's too high for you to perceive. So hey, catch up to it. You know, can you pick up what I'm putting down? You know how Jake is when he's that slick talking ass. Jake is like, Lord, try to baby talk here. It's like Jake. If Jake want to do too much, Jake don't want to be patient. Jake don't want to, follow that way. Hey, the Lord will give it to you. But are you built to deal with it when he gives it to you? You know?
And that's why even the Lord compare Jake is dead bodies, dead bones, because you can't speak to it. It's a miracle if you speak to a dead body, that motherfucker come back to life. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's why Ezekiel in 37th chapter, you just brought it. You said that valley earlier, that came into my mind. Father Bashar, you got something? Give me Psalms 88 and start that one. Just going back on the point you're saying, because it's too high for a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Understanding the drills and what's going on. And it's different lanes, for the lack of better words. You got a 6-speed, you're gonna be in here. But you got a 4-cylinder, and you gotta be in this thing. That's why sometimes you do gotta spoon feed, chew it up in your mouth, and put it in their mouth, for the lack of better words. But you got
this is Psalms chapter 88 and verse 1. And the heading is a petition to be saved from death.
It's a petition to be saved from death, man. Because the reason why the Lord compared us as dead bodies, because we're dead, we was dead from the head up. Even if you go into the Babylonian captivity, the Assyrian captivity, it was still the traces of us being Yasharada. This is a point that we was completely cut off from Yahweh Shemel, man. It wasn't no post find. No, okay?
O Lord, Yahweh Shemel Shah, power of my salvation. I have cried day and night before thee. Let my prayer come before thee. Incline thine ear unto my cry.
And he's basically crying in the midst of a valley of dry bones, man. You got it?
For my soul is full of trouble, and my life draws nigh unto the grave.
And that's it, because he says our life is full of trouble, and now our life draws nigh to the grave. We dying every day in fucking Babylon, man. God. And it got to a point, again, you going to the Babylonian, the Assyrian, it was still some traces now, but now we completely cut off to the power. So now niggas are going wild. We have Sexy Reds, NBA Young Boys, Tyler Perry's, what's that nigga name, RuPaul's. And this is basically supposed to be the figure of Israel now, man. You got it. Don't read that again.
Come on. This is Psalms chapter 88 and verse 3. For my soul is full of trouble, and my life draweth nigh unto the grave. I am counted with them that go down into the pit.
I am counted with them that go down to the pit. You got it.
I am as a man that has no strength.
Yeah, a man that have no strength. So we have to lean upon Yahweh Shemel Shine these days, man. God. You know? Especially once you dying, you fainting away. You got it?
Free among the dead, like the slain that lie in the grave.
And that's what the Lord is comparing us to, a dead body. And it's literally links up with Ezekiel 37 chapter. I wish I could hold that from my
Yeah, I do have something.
Okay.
That's where I was getting into. But this Psalms 82 and verse 6, it says, I have said ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High, but ye shall die like men and fall like one of the princes. So yeah, just to back the brother up, man, Israel was once, they was once of that high stature, when they were joined to Yahweh Shemel Shah, but then through their iniquity and their sins, they fallen, man. So now here it is. You see, it says, how as the gold is cast out utterly in the streets. Niggas die every day, man. But that's because of what? Our iniquity, man. Us all falling away from the Most High, man. You see?
You die every day, B.
Oh, yeah, that's it. You know what I mean?
And spirit, because Jake, a lot of Jake is just dead from the neck up, man. You can speak to them till they blue in the face, and they still won't get this knowledge, man. And this is why the Lord compare Israel as a whole into dead bodies, man. But it's always going to be a remedy that the Lord is going to bring up out of that, nonsense, man.
I love you, Jacob. That's what killed in my mind.
Yeah, come.
Say that where hast thou loved us? Jake don't understand that the Heavenly Father love you, and it's by way of leaving a trail, breadcrumb trail, what you call it, breadcrumbs, basically a way back to the Father through Yahweh Shah, man. That's love, that's mercy. He didn't have to do that, but he did.
That's a fact. You up real quick. The book of 2 Chronicles 36:15 says, "And the Lord Yahweh power of their father sent to them by his messengers, rising up betimes and sending, because he had compassion on his people and on his dwelling place." So if I may, this is the reason why we are today, because the Lord has compassion upon his people, right? Because his word pertains to life. If you have to get it, walking into it, then your destiny is going to be life. But if not, it's going to be destruction. Proverbs 13:13. So we're not here to hate our people, but to love them. Like give them the full truth, to warn them from the dangers of Yahweh Bashimon Shah. But Jake doesn't see it like that.
Because that compassion that Yahweh Shah was moved with the brother speaking to, it said Yahweh Shah looked upon our people as a children lost in the marketplace that has lost his parents. Imagine a child in an ancient world. You know how chaotic that was. That's worse than Times Squares in New York in the 90s. You know, that was crazy. So imagine Israel in the time of in the marketplace screaming out for his parent. And the parent can't hear it, it's too loud, it's too chaotic. The Lord is looking at it like, damn, like you really need a protector, you really need somebody to look out for you. And he's that individual going throughout that crowd to reach his hand out, to guide you to exactly where you're supposed to be, to give you that comfort. That's the exact same spirit we're supposed to move in. Of course, when we first come out here, we're gonna mimic, we're gonna parrot the same spirits that were shown before us. But as we grow in this thing, man, we grow to understand, and we become our own men, and we grow to see it through the perception of Yahweh Shah, and we have that same compassion, man. Apostle Har is an overbearing individual. He's a compassionate man, in which his compassion is passed down unto us. Hey, 2 videos, 3 videos. This is the part of that God and giving us that comfort of Yahweh Shah, us being that child lost in that marketplace. Because the more he talks to, hey, do you know what color, do you know what shirt your mother, well, my mother had on this shirt. Well, what color did your father have on? He had on this shirt, he had on these shoes, he had on these pants. But as you doing it, what? He's comforting you, and you remembering what was good for you. What? Slowly but surely, what? You find your way to your mother and father. And he was there the whole time. That's that compassion that he had to carry you through that way. We're supposed to be that same way, because at one point we were that child.
Yeah.
And look, we're gonna do the same thing. You must be lost, huh? You know, I was lost. I used to be just like you, brother. You know, we get the same stories over and over and over. That's the compassion that we're supposed to have in this walk, man. But it's only towards those that of a like-minded spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah, because only individual that you have compassion on in that crowd will be crying. You ain't looking to help out that little kid that's around kicking everybody. 2/3 of our people are in the marketplace kicking people and trying to justify themselves. But the righteous, they crying, man. So they're thankful for that individual that heard out his cry. You may not be my mother, of course it's the Lord, but the Lord is going to guide you to the place that you're supposed to be, man. That's the compassion that the Lord was moved with, man, because he saw that of all of these people around him, of all of these kinsmen, even of the Israelites, no one had to care for this particular soul. You see, it ain't like this Israelite lost in a foreign land. He's lost in the marketplace amongst his own people, and no one takes regard of him. But the Lord took regard of us, man. That's the compassion that we got to be with, man. That's the mind that we got to have. But you got it.
A little bit more. Verse 16. So this is a result of people not really hearkening to the Lord's message, in which the prophets were always a snap to the people. Verse 16, 2 Chronicles 36:16. But they mocked the message of the Most High and despised his words, and misused his prophets, until the wrath of the Lord arose against his people, until there was no remedy.
Just going back to which happened once we refused to hearken into that way, man. You bound to get kicked. You know, you bound to get taken away and get put to death. But Yahweh Hashem have sealed up the prophets for you to come back and give you that spiritual CPR. Again, comfort in the mind. You know, just going back into that Ezekiel 37, us being those lost people, those dead people missed in the valley. You know, once you're in the valley, the only thing you can do is look up. look up for hope, look up like Jacob, not Jacob, Salaki, like who was in the well, Joseph in the well and stuff like that. Yeah, no, it was Joseph. No, basically in the well. Once you in the well, for lack of better words, it ain't like you can, I'm gonna dig this way. No, you really looking up for a way out, man. And that's us spiritually in this valley, man. We're looking up towards Yahweh Shai for that spiritual hand to come down so we can grab it, man. You know, but before we was at that point, we was dead. You know, you got something.
This is Ezekiel 37 and verse 1. And it says, the hand of the Lord was upon me and carried me out in the spirit of the Lord and set me down in the midst of the valley, which was full of bones.
Yes, which was full of bones. You got it.
And caused me to pass by them round about. And behold, there were very many in the open valley. And lo, they were very dry.
Yes, it says there were very many in the open valley, but lo, they were very dry. So when you look at Babylon, America, in this state, these people are dead bones, and their bones is very dry. Because why? They stupid as hell, man. Look at Sexy Red. Everybody know this bride is a CIA operative. And when the next that she pushed forth that lazy, this bitch had a line, a cosmetic line of STDs and things like that. For lack of better words, Jake's hearkening to that Delta. Ultimately means that, read it again, but it ultimately means that Jake was wanting, it was dry, it wasn't no nourishment in their bones. You know, their bones wasn't fat for the Lord, hope or fat for the Lord understand. You got it.
Again, Ezekiel 37 and verse 2. He caused me to pass them around about. And behold, there were very many in the open valley.
There were very many, that's where the 2/3 come in. There shall many that shall be destroyed, and those that shall be saved. You got it.
And lo, they were very dry.
Yeah, they was very dry. They didn't have this understanding. They didn't have this truth. You got it?
And he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live?
Can these bones live? Because we was once dry and these dead estates, man. You got it?
And I answered, O Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, thou knowest.
And that's a wise answer because Ezekiel was like, you got it, Lord. Because he knew that he was going to take a miracle from Jake to be put out of that shucking and jiving stuff. Once again, man. You got it, bro.
Yep. And it says, verse 4, again, he said unto me, prophesy upon these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of the Lord.
Yeah, hear the word of the Lord. Come on.
Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, unto these bones, behold, I will cause breath to enter into you.
Yeah, it says, I will cause breath to enter into you. You got it.
And ye shall live.
And ye shall live. Now, that breath is actually talking about the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. You got it.
I'm going to back you up. Wisdom of Solomon 7 and 24. Wisdom is more moving than any motion. She passeth and goeth through all things by reason of her pureness. For she is the breath of the power of the Most High.
If I may, I can say she is the breath of the power of the Most High. And it's that spiritual see-through. Or you lost your breath, you drowned, you know, somebody choked you out, for lack of better words. The Lord spiritually breathed their breath back into us. You got it, locked.
Yep, for she is the breath of the power of the Most High, and a pure influence flowing from the glory of the Almighty.
And if I may, I guess it's a pure influence, man. It ain't going to influence you to go into the way of Sexy Red. It's not going to influence you to rob a nigga, to commit adultery. No, it's going to influence you in righteousness, man. And that's what that breath of Yahweh Bashem shall do. That's the same breath that the Lord breathed on Adam. You know, you got it out.
Yep, it says, therefore can no defiled thing fall into her.
And therefore no defiled thing fall into her. So the breath that the Lord is breathing on us, ultimately it's going to lead us into everlasting life, man. You know, and these are one of the things that we're hoping for the laws, statutes, commandments be put upon our inward part before all these things happen. It's a progress, man. The Lord must wake up the elect, the ones that was once in the dead state, and we was woken up. You know, that's why Scripture say, love others as I have loved you. You know?
I got something for you real quick. Titus 1 and 15, unto the pure, all things are pure. But unto them that are defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure. But even their mind and conscience is defiled. So if I make that pure, it's pretty much it's a precept. It's a precept for Wisdom of Solomon. It's just read. Let's get this real quick. Wisdom of Solomon 7:25, for she is by in a pure influence, born from the glory of the Almighty, therefore can know the foul thing falling to it. So when you look at the minds of these people, their thought patterns, the way in which they worship the Most High is impure. By subscribing to different philosophies, maybe Christianity, 5%, Islam, these are impure thoughts. And pretty much the pure is going to the words of the Most High. This is how you're made pure in spirit by you believing on it. So going back to Titus 1:15, unto the pure, all things are pure, talking about the scriptures. But unto them that are defiled and unbelieving, there's nothing pure. Case in point, Alizé, what's the name of that group? Sakari, right? They don't believe in the reign of power. See, that's an example of you being unpure, okay? Or defiled. It says, but unto them that are defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure, but even their mind and conscience is defiled. So if you're defiled, you're not clean in spirit, man. So what's that going to lead to in the time of judgment? Those had to purge you out by the way of fire. See? So they profess that they know the Most High, but in works they deny Him. See? But being abominable and disobedient and unto every good work reprobate. So when you see these different Israelite camps come up against the apostles, come up against the doctrine which we've been taught, that's an example of being proud in spirit. Profess that they know the Most High, but in works they deny Him by denying the counsel. So if you do that, then by default you're denying the counsel of Yahweh Shemosha. All right, and your destination is going to be death, man.
That's what you brought up in 36 Chronicles, 36 and 16. That's the spirit.
Hey, this is the book of Genesis, chapter 2, and verse 7, and it says, "In the Lord, Yahweh Shah, for a man of the dust of the ground,
And they're confused, you got it.
and breath into his nostrils." It says, this Genesis 2 and verse 7, it says, "And the Lord, Yahweh Shah, for a man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul."
And again, we was once dead in a dead state. We was once no different than those guys in those different Israelite camps. Brothers used to follow IUIC, ISUPK, and these different camps, but the Lord breathed into us the breath of life, the true doctrine. Again, starting off with high priest Elder Abba Bibas, for the lack of better words, before he came upon the scene, Jacob was still in that lost state. Even though they had a zeal, but they didn't have a zeal according to knowledge. Even though you knew about the New Testament, once you introduce Yahweh Shai, that's when you really become whole, man. But you got a lot. Let me go back to the 37.
Yep, going back to Ezekiel 37, and I'll start at verse 4 again. It says, "Again, he said unto me, prophesy upon these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of the Lord.
This is, O ye dry bones, hear the word of the Lord." You got it?
Thus saith the Lord Yahweh unto these bones, Behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live.
And that's what the prophets really set up for, man. For you to go back into a righteous understanding, or basically the instructions of life. You got it.
It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 3, and verse 15. "And I will give you answers according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding."
It says, "We shall feed you with knowledge and understanding." And those are nutrients that fatten the bones, man. That are nutrients that actually preserve you. Now that knowledge and understanding, it's talking about you an Israelite. It's talking about, don't commit adultery. But then also that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding is talking about prophecy, man. Preparing you for the time of the end. Telling you not to take the seed. Telling you what type of man you ought to be before the return of Yahweh Shai, man.
It says, going back to Ezekiel 37, verse 6, it says, "And I will lay sinews upon you, and will bring upon flesh upon you, and cover you with skin, and put breath in you."
And that's it, because there's certain people that just put the skin on. You an Israelite, just the identity. You know what I'm saying? But you got it.
"And ye shall live,
And ye shall live. Come on.
and ye shall know that I am the Lord."
And because there's certain people, even though they got the skin and things like that, they still in the zombified state. Like you mentioned earlier, being your own man, nigga believe anything that Nate say.
Yep.
That's you being a damn zombie. You got it.
So I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I prophesied, there was a noise, and behold, it shaken, and the bones came together, bone to his bone.
And again, that's around during the late 1960s when Elder Abba Bibas came upon the scene. It was a shaking, man. for the lack of better words, shit started to get stirred up, and people really just started to return back into their power. Now again, before that time, even though it was a sense that we was Israelites, it was a lot of niggas that was just, not a lot of people that were just leaning towards the Old Testament, man. But once Yahweh Shai got introduced, that changed the whole spectrum.
Because that great shaking in Esau caused it, that was like the 1960s and the 70s, that was called the period of the Great Awakening of Esau, because a lot of these individuals, they didn't just do the norm of to go along, to get along, they actually started to question their society. That's where you get the hippie movements from. You get these so-called countercultures from. Was that great shaking that the Lord was speaking of, with all of these things going on with Esau's counterculture and his his counterculture. The Lord had the word through our Biblians come about too. With all of this, the civil rights, all of this coming on. The word came about too. The word spring back out, the true understanding, man.
And that's why I said
came together.
It came together. Because even though a lot of shit was shaking, it was really the our Biblians that made everything come together.
Brought everything together.
Yeah.
This is
Because just going back, you introduced Yahweh Shai.
this is the book of St. John, chapter 12, and verse 32. And I, if I be lifted up from the earth, will draw all men unto me.
He says, if I be lifted up upon the earth, I will draw all men unto me. And that's when our Biblians lifted up Yahweh Shai. And
The name.
the veins started, the bones go together, man. For the lack of better word. Because again, everybody looked at the Old Testament, the laws, statutes, and commandments, which niggas still push to this day. But it was a separation. The Lord told Abraham, be ye separate, and I shall receive you. The Lord set up our Biblians to separate himself by introducing who? Yahweh Shai, man. And that's when the bones really started to come together, man, when Yahweh Shai came from the scene. Because the Heavenly Father didn't say he was going to save us. He said he was going to send his son to save us, man. Some more on that, bro?
On that, Ezekiel 37, and I'll start at verse 8. It says, and when I beheld, lo, the sinews and the flesh came upon them, and the skin covered them above, but there was no breath in them.
And again, there's certain Israelite camps that's not pushing forth a certain doctrine. That's pushing forth the doctrine of do as thou wilt, the doctrine of the flesh, and even the doctrine of just bringing a whole bunch of niggas in. Because I knew ISUPK, they had a big thing of having like a dating service. You want to get a wife, you want to get this, but come on to ISUPK.
That ISUPK. Man of the Lord.
Yeah, man of the Lord. You say, they get you little 50, they get you this, you know what I'm saying? But that's really not the right way, because ultimately that's going to bring in niggas, man. It tells us that even in Matthew 13 chapter, when he brought up everything upon the lake, and it was certain things that he had to throw back and certain things that he kept. Right? When you fish, a lot of things that you fish, you really throw back in the water. Because whether the fish is not too big or whether it's an unclean fish, you probably got a crab on there. You thought it was a fish, you reeled it in, it was a stick in a boot. You know what I'm saying? Those things piss you off. But that's the same thing how it is in the truth.
That's it.
Yahweh Shai, he's the ultimate parable, man. But you got to do it.
On that, it says, verse 9, it says, then said he unto me, prophesy unto the wind.
Prophesy unto the wind. So I don't give a fuck if nobody don't help me, man. If nobody don't want to come into it. For lack of better words, the Lord got me doing
He done
this,
put
man.
up 7 videos, 0 views among 7 videos.
You know what I'm saying? That's why the Lord says as long as you get one. The brother just told that. As long as you get one view, the angel's going to rejoice, man. If one return back into righteousness, man, showing you how powerful this is.
Yeah.
You got it.
And it says this, verse 9, it says, then said he unto me, prophesy unto the wind, prophesy, son of man, and say to the wind, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, come from the full wind, O breath, and breathe upon these slain.
In the part of the Lord bringing this breath across the 4 winds nowadays is what? The internet. We ain't physically got to go through the 4 winds or go throughout the whole planet Earth. Because why? Yahweh Shai have already predestinated the system for this truth to get pushed forth. That's a reason why you ain't see me in Kenya. You ain't see none of these brothers in Kenya, man. You seen Ak in the video, Shalom. You seen, Kenya. Yeah. Go. You know what I'm saying? You ain't see brother get hit with mace. You know what I'm saying? Because why? The Lord designated us to bring forth these 4 winds throughout the internet. That's going back into the St. Luke. The brother just pulled up. Once Yahweh Shai get lifted up, he's going to draw all men into it.
That's good order. That we ain't made it out to Kenya, the Dominican Republic, brothers ain't taking cruise ships. That's order. Our apostles laid it out. All they do is keep it simple. They show up on the weekends to teach, prophesy, and then they go home, and then they do more shows and prophesy. You ain't seen them on no flashy trips, expensive vacations, yachts,
People
right?
passing out.
Foreign cars. You ain't never seen that. You ain't heard that. You ain't heard fresh new garments. They ain't pull up in the fresh new garments since you met the prophet. Alright? So a lot of them had the same kicks on since they had been prophesying in the, who knows, 2010s. You ain't seen it. If you've seen it, any distractions, you ain't seen it from the apostle. You ain't learning from the apostle. That's how the Lord wanted it to be done. That's how the prophets of old had it done. What did brother just brought out? What's his name? John the Revelator, John the Baptist. And what was he like unto? What did they say about him? You know, they had demons on him, right? Because he was in the wilderness, and eating locusts and wild honey. Basic, simple, but the message hit you, right? Might be crazy to everybody else, but the message always hit. That's all it comes down to, the message. You going flying? What's the message? And where's the land where we supposed to be prophesying at? And we right here. Never left.
I got a quick one for the day. This is Habakkuk 2:2. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon the table.
Hey, if I may add, that's what the devil just going to. We making it plain, bro. So again, all those flashy garments, that's when you lack it. Just going back what you said, once you got to do the most, that's once you lack it. It says once the cut, the knife, once you have to put more force into it, the dull is blade. But once it's short, it just, you know what I'm saying? It just straight into the point.
Properly sharpened blade will cut easier than a dull blade.
You got to do the most with the dull blade. You know what I'm saying?
You got to exert more force and everything.
More energy.
Yep, more energy.
It's an energy waste.
Yeah, I'll finish it. Habakkuk 2:2. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision. What is the vision? That's the understanding. Make it plain upon the table. That's the breakdown. Break it down plainly. Don't mystify it to Jake. Don't try to make Jake think you got to go do a 12-year course and pay $1,200 to get the understanding. Make it plain upon the tables that he may run that read it. Why? Because he understands. That's why he ran. Oh shit, it's a fire on 13th Street. My grandmother lives on. Hey, now I'm running 13th Street. It's a fire. You see? That's what the Lord told us to do. Make it plain, man. Make it easy for them to get. That they can what? The information can be passed along, man.
Hey, and then once you made it easy, find a way to make it easy.
Easier. Yep.
Love others and have love you. It was easy for you to receive this truth, so you got to make it easy for somebody else to receive.
Yep. Make it easy.
Freely given, freely received.
But that was it on that.
Hey, you got old guys. They whole program is to make money or find a way to make money off of this truth.
Man, it's more to this. A lot.
Yeah, go ahead.
It says, you got it. It's on you. It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time.
If I may add, it's an appointed time. It's now. But like about the words, the disciples back in the time Yahweh Shai was out at this time, restore again the kingdom of heaven. It wasn't time.
Yeah, they were looking for it.
Yeah, they were looking for it. You had to go through the dark ages. Imagine if Yahweh Shai would have told them, man, you got to wait. Now, they were probably lost their faith. The Lord said, it ain't for your time to know. You know what I'm saying? Because even Yahweh Shai didn't know. You see what I'm saying? That's going back into order, understanding, just being patient.
Discipline.
Discipline.
Endurance. You gotta wait for it now. Suppose you get it right away.
Hey, you've been like Judas, you know, not being impatient, trying to force the hand of the Lord.
Jump the gun and shit.
Patient possession your soul.
You just end up destroying yourself. That's what he did.
You know what? All the prophets, like all the apostles really had to deal with that patience, because even Peter and them, they wanted Yahweh Shai to kind of go right away. He would say things like, I got to be killed. Some man got to be crucified. They buck up against that. That's where that's saying, Peter, get thee behind me, Satan. because he was trying to buck up. They didn't understand that there was more waiting. That was the whole understanding that they lacked more waiting.
Yeah.
All right.
More waiting.
More endurance. More patience. That's always been the message.
You
More
should
patience.
prophesy again.
Yeah, prophesy
You should
again.
prophesy
Yeah.
again.
Like that Kobe, Kanye.
Yeah, cut.
But then the scriptures say the Lord long suffering because there's some that still have to come in. Yeah. So, you know, so as you can see, the truth is still growing, it's still spreading. You can see that in certain view counts, right? I mean, a brother might have, like the elder from South Carolina, he might have 1,500, but the next time you see a video, come back a month or whatever, it'll be 3,500. You say, oh, like it's true. Amongst the sincere, there's really more ears now listening. And it's nothing for 50K. It's nothing for the Lord to just have everybody tune in. Right? And it's nothing. But what it take is, for some people, it take like a disaster. Yeah. Like with the brother from Hawaii. It take a disaster. All of a sudden, I promise you, I remember that day, bro. It was like 50,000. It was 50K on his live.
Yeah.
But most of his videos might have, right, 100,000. Where they came from. So even during the time of famine and hearing the word, they said they're gonna go to and fro. Right at that moment, they went to and fro. So they're gonna find, you know. So it really, the Lord got such a spirit on brothers to be locked in, even when nothing's happening. It seemed like nothing going on, right? Might get one view, whatever. But the Lord got us locked in, because when look at all it takes is something drastic, and they know exactly who you are. And they know where your channel was. They was scoffing the whole time. But now they coming for answers. But the Lord said that day, you're gonna send that, you know, you're gonna send them back, basically back to the world. Go to them that buy. I don't know about it.
Pastor I said, once the chip come out and things like that, don't come to me. We've been warning for years, bro. And even amongst COVID, it's like Crown 19 and things like that. It was people calling everybody can attest.
Right.
So it's like possible. What happened when everything was, you don't need help for it, you know what I'm saying? And that person so imagine once the EMP attacks happen. They ain't gonna have their trust to come. They're gonna come to your house. You know what I'm saying?
I know you guys.
What you said about that, man? You know what I'm saying? Then people are gonna try to acquire. That's what the elder just mentioned it, bro. Sometimes you gotta get their belt, you know, BTA, belt their ass to get the understanding. Even some of the elect is gonna have to get this. You know? That's why even Yahweh Shai said, some of the elect is just forgive them for they know not what they do.
Hey, remember
they don't really know, like y'all really know what type of state their mind is in. Because they lost. These how fucking beat their ass so down. They don't really realize how bad it is in this society. Until Yahweh Shai wake them up into it, man, and diagnose them. You know? And he do that through loss.
Gotta remember Down Thomas, man. Because Down Thomas saw Yahweh Shai turning water. He saw all the miracles, the walking on the water. He saw the water to wine, raising of the dead, and he still died. He tell me he back alive. Like after all of that, everybody else believed it. He did it. Like you gonna have some of the elect, like you said. Hey, Jake the Lord gonna have to put belt to ass for certain of the elect men to even keep it. You know?
And that's how you gonna have to earn your crown. That's how you gonna have to earn your crown. Papa Bishop, the brother ain't got that.
I'll finish that off too while the brother get there. All right, this is back in Habakkuk. This is 2, verse 3. It says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry." So that's just speaking to the prophecies. Everything that the brothers is going into. Hey, these prophecies of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai stand, man. So every warning that it may seem trivial or seem light unto you at that moment, in the days to come, man, it would be needful for you to take heed to the very sayings that the brother's saying, because it's a part of prophecies that are to come, man. Because it will not tarry. It's on its way. We're in the midst of it. But you got this life.
Make you shoot the ball, man. Because the time is running out. get in that motherfucker, they might cleave unto you. But it's probably, you know, they probably gonna have to work out their judgment with the Lord. You know, but you gotta do it.
Yep. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2 and verse 14. It says, he was made to approve our thoughts. He is grievous unto us even to behold.
Now this is the elites. He's really talking about the prophets, man. The men that out there on the highways and byways and speaking against this place. Because we gotta realize, man, we're righteous living in the midst of a wicked generation. So a lot of things that we say, and even a lot of ways how we carry ourselves, we offend a lot of wicked niggas, man.
God.
You could be in public just chilling. You got righteous food in here. You got unlimited bread and everything. And the cash, she'll give an attitude at you just because you say, how you doing, sweetheart? You know, and it's up to you to not. You stupid, you know. You gotta take it on the chin. Because you know the scriptures. You know they hated Yahushua, so how much more is they gonna hate us in this generation?
God.
If it be possible, be at peace.
Oh man.
Why would it say if it be possible?
Because it's
Why would
possible.
it just say be at peace with all men? Why is it, you know, sometimes it ain't
It
possible.
ain't possible.
Why?
Ah,
You know,
God.
I mean, and then the scriptures tell you but go ahead, it's like it's
Hey, that's the spirit though. Hey, you right, man.
No. They just
Yeah,
Oh yeah, walk with wisdom towards them that are without. You know, they show you that we in a world of a lack of wisdom is probably this. You know, how everybody getting symptoms or what's called it diagnosis. Everybody want a diagnosis, right? You bipolar, you want a diagnosis. You know, you crazy, you want a diagnosis. You sick, you want a diagnosis. But America don't want this diagnosis. Well, we here to give it this diagnosis, and that's that. You know, people is evil as shit. And the Lord do everything He can to allow us to refrain from being amongst you when we got to deal. But when we got to deal with you, we got to be the ones that apply wisdom because you're gonna be the ones without it. 9 out of 10, your interactions every day, you're gonna be with somebody that lack more wisdom than you. That means you gotta apply the wisdom.
Done.
So you got the burden of the conversation. You hold the burden. If you get in this situation, even amongst brothers will look at you crazy because you got in this situation. How'd you get in that situation? Understand this now. How you get in it. You was in the power. Now you got the burden. Always fall on you. Now you got the watch how you walk.
That's beautiful. I got a quick precept just to add on to it. This is Sirach 10 and 18. It says, pride was not made for men, nor furious anger for them that are born of a woman. I remember the brother Abba had went into it, and the point is, nor furious anger for them that are born of a woman. All of us on this earth that walk were born of a woman. But think to the elect men. Do they have a mother really? No, you have a father. So, as the elder was going into, your thought process has to be higher. It has to be greater. Every individual that we come into in life, as the brother's going into, is like they have lesser wisdom than you. So you calling yourself, hey king, hey God, you a God. Well, show your understanding. King Solomon showed his understanding. When do the Lord constantly gives us, puts us in situations to show our kingship, to show our godliness, to show our understanding. But a lot of us fail those moments because of what? Jake being their feelings, they being their thoughts, whatever it may be. The Lord is showing us, He's constantly telling us from situation to situation. I'm giving you examples and ways as to show how you move, how you're supposed to move as a God. That's why He says that fierce anger is not made from man that is born of a woman. The elect eventually get to an understanding. Apostle Tahar ain't going to a lady that push her. She can literally push this brother out of the way and stand in front of him at the grocery line. I'm pretty sure he ain't finna haul off a punch in the back of the head. Get out. You know, that's him understanding. His demons on you, speak. I'm gonna let her have it. That ain't worth me even making this situation that I won't even be able to make it out the camp. That's an understanding of how we supposed to be in this walk, man. Fierce anger is not made for men. But for the elect man that is judging according to the standard of the Lord, it is, because it's called indignation. But you got it.
You got some more on? Because you're going back to what you were saying. Because again, the Lord got us in a certain level of discipline, a certain level of road. Because again, to be honest, we are better than these people. And what makes us better? These wheels. You know what I'm saying? That's why it says, "O kings, if you desire a kingdom, hearken to wills."
And going back to Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2 and verse 15, it says, he is grievous unto men's, his ways are of another fashion.
And the reason why, because the way that we move, man, for lack of better words, our ways are of another fashion. We are totally separate from these people. So when you bump head with a lot of these people, you gotta realize they got demons on them, and the demons is really put on them to provoke you. For you to get this thing called getting out of character, man. That's really going on. You getting out of character, man. You know you're supposed to be a king. The characteristics of a king, for lack of better words, he's patient. You know, but you gotta go on.
Yep, verse 16, it said, we are abstaining of him as counterfeits. He abstaineth from our ways as from filthy.
And that's talking about we're calling out the Amalekites to be false leaders, false children of the Lord. And it says what? Yeah.
He pronounceth the end of the just to be blessed.
Yep.
And maketh his boast that the Most High, Yahweh, is his Father.
Yes, but you be claiming all these things of being righteous, man. You know, you got it.
Let us see if his words be true.
Now this is Esau trying to see if the words be true. You know, like I say, you say all this. You know what I'm saying? You talking and talking, but it's gonna get to a point when Jacob's gonna have to walk the walk, and it's gonna be different levels into it. Jacob's gonna be persecuted. We get persecuted on the Lord level. Again, a broad and public sheep elbow you in the way. I'm in front of you. First thing you're gonna do, you're gonna have to step out of line and just go to another. You know, because again, we know what's ahead of us, man. While these people are living in the now. She rushing the she like a nigga the other day, he cut me off to get to a red light. You know what I'm saying? You rushing to get nowhere. You know?
Yeah, in your mind. It's something different. Right? You can think of all types of possibilities of what you actually supposed to do. So you gotta be a funnel. It's like a funnel. Like all them thoughts and ideas that come to your head, the one that's supposed to come out should be the wisest one. At any given time.
Real quick, it's like the brother has.
You got it. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 10 and verse 16. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Hey, God, so we know how to move, man. The serpent, he know when to strike, man. He ain't just going up just hitting everything, man. He know how to move, man. We got to be wise as serpents, like brother nigga. Got demons on him, so you got to know how to move. It's in trouble. He gonna fly away, he gonna get the fuck on. And that's how we should be, man.
Watch the end.
That's it.
You're going back to Solomon chapter 2. And verse 17 again, let us see if his words be true. And let us prove what should happen in the end of it.
It says, let us see if his words be true. And let's just see what happened to the end of it.
Yeah, I got a precept that just, hey, I'm throwing it right back to you.
You got it right.
All right. This is Ecclesiastes 7:7. It says, surely oppression maketh the wise man mad. So we understand, hey, we pissed off over here. A woman can oppress you, a child can oppress you, bills can oppress you. There's many things that can oppress you on this side. But this is the point. It says, surely oppression maketh the wise man mad, and the gift destroyeth the heart. But when you go into that word, oppression maketh the wise man wise, to go into wise is to shine, right? So when you go into the word mad, when you go into the word mad, it's not to make angry, it's to shine, because the Lord is giving us an understanding as to how to move. Okay, you understand that you're oppressed now. You see how that's heavy for him? Well, use these wheels. If you put yours in the car, he gonna carry his on his back. We still been oppressed. I still gotta pull it. But how do I pull this oppression now? I'm wise. You see, he'll be able to shine. It's like, hey, I'm gonna put some wheels on mine next time. You see, now, hey, the burden is made light. But you got it. That's how the Lord is causing us in the day of Jacob's trouble. We're gonna have a different reaction because we've been taught how to react. These people are just gonna be reacting, and then if you don't know how to react, you're gonna get the wrong reaction. You're gonna get put to death in that day, man, because people are already on edge. They're in. But you got it.
Going back to the book of Solomon chapter 2 and verse 18. But the just man, the son of the Most High, he will help him and deliver him from the hand.
Spitefulness and torture. And that's a part of Esau coming down having great wrath. Spitefulness and torture. And that's a part of Esau coming down having great wrath. And we can see the beginning of that now, by the way. This guy, he YouTube videos, YouTube guidelines, but even this whole PC culture. You have to be politically correct. You know, you can't say the F word no more. You can't say the G. You can't even call a girl a dyke no more. Man.
Can't even say the R word?
You gotta call these guys men and women and non-binary. It shows you that this place is totally upside down. And really, we just fighting the uphill battle.
The pronoun.
Yeah, the
They call it
pronoun. The pronoun. You know, it's a I know a bride that day we go to school. A nigga won prom king, but he had heels on. Real talk. Nigga won prom king. Nigga had fucking like blue hair with fucking heels on him, bro.
In Alabama.
In Alabama.
That
was foreign. That was foreign 10 years ago, man. But that's what happened. When people need to be established in a situation, bro. She can be changed drastically. That's why when you go into the law, it's just you have to put that sin out of Israel immediately. Because soon as you let that wickedness brew, it's going to grow greater and greater. That's how leaven is. And when one level, like once leaven grow, whether you cook a piece of bread or something like that, you can tell that leaven is in there because it's a damn bubble. You know, it started off this size, now it's 5 times bigger. Same thing with Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom and Gomorrah, it didn't just start like that. It was just the city, and it fast forward to 5 great cities of wickedness. 5 great cities of wickedness, man. You know, and again, in the midst of that great city of wickedness, the Lord have a man named Lot that was in the midst of wickedness, and that's us. Bible Bashar brother can get Isaiah 54:19, he got the part of evil, making himself a prey. You know what I'm saying? Because one thing about a prey, he's desirable amongst the predators, man. One thing about the prey, they're desirable amongst the people who's quote unquote over them, man, on the food chain. So, you know, for lack of better words, even though we are great men, it's predators like Moab over us, predators like an Ishmaelite, predators like a Edomite. You know, and in every chance and corners, they want to devour us, whether they devour our pockets, or whether they devour your women, or devour your fucking community. Because even a lot of these Israelites who be on these gas stations, niggas be, you know, selling dope out of them, man. You know? But you got it, huh? I still 59.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 59, and verse 15, and it says, yea, truth faileth, and he that departed from evil maketh himself a prey. And the Lord saw it, and it displeased him that there was no judgment.
Yeah, he that departed from evil maketh himself a prey. You know, so soon as we say we're not of this world anymore, then it's a target on our back. You know, that's why going back into that wisdom psalm in the 2nd chapter, he is not like other men. You know, his ways are of another fashion. That's the same thing that happened to Abraham. That's the same thing that happened to Lot. And that's the same thing that happened to us in this day, man. So it's no surprise once people hate us and demonize us. Because we don't go with this society. You know, a man being with a man is okay here. But we speak against it. As soon as we speak against that, now we're the bad guys upon the block. You know? You got it.
Yeah, I got one for you. This is Isaiah chapter 5, verse 20. Woe to them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter.
And that's why the scriptures make more sense. Surely you're turning the things upside down. Yep. Because now the woman is ruling over the man. The man, he's infested with estrogen. The woman is infested with testosterone. And totally the roles is flipped upside down. You can see why confusion is being pushed forth, man. You know, you can see why the kids are more demonic. You know, you can see why the food is highly in chemicals and bullshit. Because why? Esau have flipped things backwards, man. You know?
And you got a nigga head full of grays, quote, happy wife, happy life. You know what I mean? Just to show you that everything is totally upside down here, man. You know, it's like we got
You can see why all the balloons getting popped.
oh yeah.
You got women, like you got women with more facial hair than men now. That's like, it made me think when you was talking about women with high testosterone. It's women with facial hair now, man. You know, and they 20 years old. Hey, you used to see that. I used to see that on Big Mama there. You know, the grandma used to have a couple little snubs, and this broad 22, and she got a goatee. Hey man, it's off, man. Society's just backwards, man.
Like you got bitches calling each other bruh.
Bruh. And niggas calling each other's twins.
Even me. You know,
Oh, baby.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Birmingham started that. I ain't gonna lie, Birmingham started that.
I'm about to get to add to the process.
You said the level. 11.
Yeah, because when just speaking to, when you really look at things being turned upside down, they still push towards the standard of the Lord on the lower end. That a dyke bitch just want to be a nigga Jake, and a faggot nigga just want to be a nigga woman. Every dyke, whether I don't care what color she is, she want to be a nigga. She want to be a male. She want to be a nigga. She want to act like Black John Shaw. And every gay nigga want to act like Beyonce. Why, man? The salt of the earth. It's just sick, man. Sick.
And even then, when it comes to Jake is out wicked. So he makes it look cool.
Yeah.
The salt of the earth.
Yeah, salt of the earth. One thing was that guy named RuPaul. This guy was famous for years, man. They actually gave this nigga a show with plenty of seasons, man. With plenty of seasons to push forth his type of curriculum. Now imagine if you just a little kid. Every kid had cake. You 8 years old, and it's the first thing you see. Automatically, his mind is defiled, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he came up off Flip Wilson.
Yeah, Flip Wilson.
RuPaul came up off him. You know, not the same guideline, so that produces, you know, weak mentality.
Yeah.
And then not time to parenting.
Yeah, he is a Flip Wilson. You said something. You said
These are one of the weapons that white men use to basically put our people in that defiled and destructive state of mind. You know, it's a self-destructive state of mind. That's why the Lord told us to keep the heart with all diligence, because out of it is the issues of life. A part of you keeping your heart with all diligence is basically watching what you take in. And even though it's physical, you know, brothers, alcohol, you know what I'm saying, this, that, and third, but even the shit that you watch, because your eyes are like cameras, man. And a lot of times, bro, like you mentioned earlier, when it comes to baby and kids, once they see something, the first thing they're gonna do is mimic it. Once you even once you see like a dude, like a bad basketball move, that's your first time to see it, you're gonna try to mimic it. So imagine when Jake first seen wickedness, man, they mimic it and they basically exhausted it to a whole other state. Now they got the flame of wickedness now, man. You know?
Garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah, garbage in, garbage out. You know, and the only thing they do is just track filth wherever you go. It gotta be a fire that cleans that garbage out, man. You know? You got
Malachi 3:18. Then shall you return and discern between the righteous and the wicked, between him that serveth the Most High and him that serveth him not.
And that's why Elder High Priest Nightcroft said that, man. The Lord put us in this position so we can learn righteousness and wickedness, man. You have to learn both sides to be the perfect king. So even though we get offended at a lot of things, sometimes they want to react at certain things in a certain way. We gotta let that shit be, so we can understand. Like, okay, in the kingdom, once this happens, you know, you can see, you know the judgments to make everything all right, man. You know, and that's the beautiful thing about it. But going back into this, Jake being wicked, instead of them discerning the Lord, Yahweh Shema, the way of righteousness, being the right way. You know, being the way of righteousness is to get man over the nigga. You know, something small as that. But a woman having multiple men, they okay with it. She just having fun, man. Showing you the things they do in this society to demonize righteousness. You know? You got it.
Got some for you real quick. Like the book of Psalm 94:16. Who will rise up for me against the evildoers? Who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity?
If I may, because it's a lot of niggas that just sit back being cool, but wickedness being pushed forth, man. Even a lot of these people that's in the so-called Baptist church and things like that, they continue to let wickedness continue to grow like that leaven instead of checking it at the door. That's why the Lord said, who is going to do this for me? Because a lot of niggas said they was going to do it and never did. You know, they say they're a warrior of the Lord, but you got a mow in there and you don't rebuke him at the gates, man.
Yeah.
You know, you say you believe in the Yahweh Shema, but you don't believe in the reigns of Paul, man. You know, that's not you standing up against the evildoers. That's you really doing the work of the evildoers, man. And the Lord's going to get ready to do away with a lot of this shit, bro. You know? This morning.
This is Matthew 19 and 30. For many that are first shall be last, and the last shall be first. You heard the brother just going into that. In a society where you deny wickedness and evil and put you last. When you go situations come to pass, like your patience is tested. You gotta deal with it accordingly. You gotta be able to go this walk, carry that cross. You gotta be able to apply these scriptures when it's time. Right? You go from quoting them and knowing them to applying them. And you're gonna be last. You gotta deal with that. That's a part of it. You're gonna be looked at like last. You're gonna be felt or talked to like last. Treated like last. Only so you can be first in that next time. And you gotta get ready for the next go around, man. This place is already at the end of this shit. You wanna join the ranks now with the people who's great now at the end. They about to receive the mark.
And everybody.
Bro, yeah. Anybody can get a hit. Come on, man. It's like the perfect analogy. That woman, she done been ran through. But you want to show her so much love and everything like that. The only thing you're supposed to do with the whore is just hit it and quit it. But you want to embrace her, show her love. America don't care how much love you try to show her, how much you care about this time we living in right now.
Yeah.
You know, I got my everything set up. The kids, the house, the this, that, and the third, or whatever. College, education, you got everything. Whatever you're going through, if you think that if you put over what you got going on versus what the Lord about to have in store for us, then you bugging, you tripping. Okay. You want to be last. Now you want to be last so that you can get that first in the kingdom. When it's fresh, when it's new, you're the first that gets to hit it. And only. It's fresh now. You want that.
Got something for you, baby. It's put in St. Luke 14 and verse 11. For whosoever exalted himself shall be abased, and he that humbled himself shall be exalted.
I mean, it comes down to the simple ideals, the value of humility. The value and the concept of humility and how we engage in that in a world that tells you, leave that alone, man. What you mean? Too humble. That's a saying in this world. Too humble. Yeah, they're too humble. And they mean it. They don't mean it how we mean it. They mean it where, you know, you're supposed to boss up everywhere, all the time. You the boss, all the time. You're supposed to stand on business every time. You're not using wisdom. You just direct like a beam, like Cyclops, just beaming his light everywhere. You're using all force in every situation. Nah, man, you learn how to deal delicately with tact, discipline. You hold back, you refrain in moments. Then you know how to exert in certain moments. It's a proper play. It's like watching, you know, a great receiver, a great shooting guard. It ain't always hard dribble straight to the basket.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes they backstep into it. The crossover, a little bit of that, a little head, you know, fake, spin around. You finesse this thing. So what the Lord gives you is things that the world finds it weak, but we see that strength. Humility is strength. Look how much strength it takes to be humble in a world full of proud people. Who try to entice you to go ahead and be humble again. One more time.
This is the book of Luke 14.
So you gotta again deny in this world in many ways. Many ways. Again, another form of denying them is remembering to remain humble. You got
Luke 14, verse 11. For whosoever exalted himself shall be abased.
I mean, in simple form, you put yourself out there, you're gonna get cut down from the bottom, boom, from the legs, and that means the fall is gonna be high. They got a saying, you know, the bigger they come, the harder they fall, man. So you don't wanna be amongst that, man. Just stay at the ground, stay at base level. You know, the King David, what do you say? I'd rather be a doorkeeper. You know, sometimes you gotta just reflect on that, man. A king is talking like that. A king, you know, that we can't fly in this time.
That was a beautiful low state of mind. What King David said. He said, I'd rather be a doorman. Who take pictures of the doorman? Nobody really takes a picture of the doorman unless you catch the man at the door. You know, the scripture said, exalt not thyself. And read that back from the top.
It says, for whosoever exalted himself shall be abased.
Alizé, he exalted himself to a point that the Lord abased him. But who taught him to exalt himself? His mother, his constituents, even within his camp. Because one thing I noticed, you don't see the apostle outside of just the Saturday camps and the live lessons. You don't see Instagram pictures, no any other platforms of the apostles and the elders being exalted or them exalting themselves. Everybody in this society take pictures of themselves, constantly showing off videos or something of their children or themselves. Everybody's in a state of exalting themselves. Men out here, I'm pretty sure I don't really see brothers online like that. You know,
That's how you
like
know they followed the world. They didn't follow after the order.
God,
The order was
get off of it.
it's the order. Sometimes the order don't gotta be told. It can be observed. You know? So yeah, so Apostle didn't have to make that lesson. You see, and even amongst
Yeah.
even amongst the NY camp, it was an order at some point in time not to be online, and then it kind of eased up at some, you know what I mean? It was an order that actually went out where, you know, brothers they were faithful, and as you can see, it increased brothers studying, learning. Anytime you withdraw from the world, man, you benefit in its truth. You don't benefit in the world. Yeah, if you measure the world, did I benefit from coming in this truth with my finances? Maybe not. Did I benefit in this truth because, you know, with my woman situation? Maybe not. Did you benefit in this truth as far as being aligned with what the Heavenly Father wants you to do so that you can receive salvation, get the fuck up out here on a ship while everybody else burning alive? That's what you benefit.
Yeah. If you got that one restful night of sleep when you first believed, I'm an Israelite. That was the best night of sleep I had. Going to sleep like knowing,
Yeah,
it's the Heavenly Father watching, looking down on me. I know you got me, whether I live or die. Hey, you deserve, you owe the Lord something for that restful night of sleep. That one restful night of sleep, according to you believing on, you owe the Lord something for that, man. That's peace, man.
Good way to look at it.
I owe the Lord something. That was a peaceful night of sleep I had. Shit.
Babylon can't give you that.
Shit.
A lot of you people, the truth of the matter is they suffering and they'll never let you know. Some niggas can't sleep, they messed up. You're right, they locked into this world, but they really drugged up, messed up. They mad, they ain't saying they really, you know, burning inside. People be jumping, huh? Go ahead.
Oh, I think you think of something.
Restlessness, if anything. That's what being awake at night is. It's kicking, you turning, it's restless. Your body wants something, it's desiring, it's craving something. Think about being just letting your spirit do whatever it wants in a Babylon. Whatever it wants. Like, whatever that, think about applying do what thou wilt in Babylon. You're going to walk away with diseases, struggles, death. Right? You're going to get killed. Babylon is not a safe place at all. So you really got to be responsible.
Valley of death.
Valley of death. Somebody bring that up. Got that right.
I got some real quick. Book of Galatians chapter 5, starting verse 25. If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. Let us not be desirous of vain glory, provoking one another and envying one another.
Yep, one more time. Select.
Yep. Top verse 25, Galatians 5 and 25. If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit.
Just live in the Spirit and walk in the Spirit. All right. You engage in the Spirit. The Spirit going back to breath, life, everlasting life, that which produces salvation. Right. There's a scripture that talks about enlightening. We have a saving knowledge. This is different.
Quicken.
Yeah, quickens you, wakes you up. Matter of fact, somebody grabs Thessalonians 5. All right, so we want to be quick and then awake to what? Everlasting life. How to get it, how to receive it. Why? Because we understand ages now. Somebody grab Seasons, Ecclesiastes 3. We understand ages now. This is a different realm of understanding, and you can't apply the same old wisdom. You have to get new wisdom. You have to be born again. You have to be like a new bottle that won't burst with this new form of wisdom. So you got to be changed. You can't conform to the world. You got to turn away from that lifestyle so that you can obtain the things that you're trying to get. When you learn about salvation, you're supposed to want it now. It ain't good enough to hear about it. Yeah, some of them elect gonna be saved. That's good for them. Yeah. And then you go back into the world. No, you want some of that now. You want in on it. The Lord trying to share that with them. This is mercy and blessing. Be acknowledged like the brother just said. Like this. Sleep good. Just stand alone. You can look yourself in the mirror and, you know, and
tried.
You passed the test.
Yeah.
You got the name. Go ahead, I'll put one down.
Galatians 5:26. Let us not be desires of vain glory, provoking one another, envying one another.
Matter of fact, somebody grab real quick. Revelation is it 2, and like I said, provoking one another, vain glory. The things that you damn sure not supposed to be chasing ain't gonna give you no satisfaction. It's gonna be temporary. The scriptures talk about an eternal crown, eternal rulership, an eternal kingdom, an eternal reign, eternal authority. Eternal. You gotta associate yourself and your life with eternal choices rather than temporal choices. Vanity, that's temporal. You see yourself looking good and great for a minute, and you know, people that say the emperor got the clothes, you should be ashamed of yourself. But vanity, you gotta
Revelation 2 and verse 9, I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich.
Yeah, you got poverty right now. Yeah, you suffering. Yeah, you dealing with some real life situations.
Yep.
All right, people trying to be carnal, get you back into that old man. You enticed, right? You enticed to sin. You enticed with these temptations. But you have to persevere, man. You have to endure. You have to go through. You have to deal with the burden. You have to carry that cross. Right? And it says we know we poverty. So your poverty ain't nothing new. Heavenly Father knows exactly what you're going through. Bank cards, credit cards, debt, whatever. Right? You owe some shit right now. You don't know how you're gonna pay. So the poverty that you're dealing with, the Lord already He acknowledges that. I know that poverty and your tribulation, so you're dealing with trouble too. Right? On top of your bills, you got trouble. Trouble in the flesh, all right? Trouble here and there. Right? Your eye can see is trouble. But the scriptures say, man that was born was a few days and full of trouble. So that's really, it was already told us what we was going to be dealing with in Babylon. All right? This is part of existence. Until Yahweh Shah come and change everything, you're going to have a new body. What kind of trouble you going to know in a new body? So engage in that. Engage in what the Spirit trying to lead you to. Everlasting life. Always the Spirit will try to walk you back into everlasting life. Rather being sick. All right? Like the brother just mentioned, you got a void you're trying to fill. That's a sick thing, man. You know, so you at home. I ain't even going.
It says, but thou art rich. And I know the
All right, but thou art rich. You know your poverty, all this tribulation, you definitely you rich.
Full of hope.
All right, yeah, you full of hope. You have the knowledge of the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. You have that. All right, you have that which King searched after and couldn't find. You have these things accessible to you all the time, locked into your mind. You still in the truth. You still acknowledging Yahweh Shah as the supreme dictator, all right? The supreme heavenly Father and Son in that authority. And eventually everything will bow to him. So where does that place you? That place you ahead of the curve, ahead of the crowd. Ahead. You just so far ahead that you're dealing with in an adverse way. So the people who really push you and hurt you and try to maim you and kill you because they as beasts, this is what they do to things they don't understand. The analogy that Elder Ron always uses, a dog always gonna bark at the mailman. That's the mailman. We need the mail. But the dog don't understand that. He's hasty, indecisive, and he don't got thought. He don't got reason. So you can't be as an animal. You gotta be like a mature, you know, a man of the Lord who understands destiny. These people on this sign is destined for to be restored as a people, as a nation. But only elect, the 1/3 is destined for salvation. Destined. Right? You ain't gonna fight against your own destiny if you're destined to wear crowns. The Lord say He's coming back to give us crowns. You got out.
going back. Revelation 2 and verse 9, it says, I know thy works and tribulation and problem, but thou art rich.
Rich, man. Rich. You filthy rich. All right? You got money to dispose of. You got wealth and nothing but time to apply. All right? You got unlimited amounts of wealth and nothing but unlimited amounts of time to examine all of it. Because it takes an everlasting kingdom to be able to deal as much wealth as the Lord gave you. That's why you're rich. Because He said it's really good for you to be rich. Whereas in Babylon, America, how long are you going to be rich? signs, man. It takes for the president to say World War III is around the corner. And the people still don't. They still party like it's 1999. They don't believe it. They don't believe it. Well, it takes the Lord's men to consider. We are rich through this knowledge, through these scriptures. All right? Okay. Go ahead.
James 2, verse 5. It says, hearken, my beloved brother, have not the Most High chosen toward this world rich and faithful, and heirs of the kingdom which he hath promised to them that love.
Okay, so you gotta love it. You gotta love the setup that Yahweh should be outside and give. For in this world, rich and faithful. Now, somebody grab Hebrews 11:1.
Yeah.
And then jump to verse 6. Go ahead.
This is the book of Isaiah chapter 66 and verse 2. And it says, for all those things have my hand made, and all those things have been, saith the Lord. But to this man will I look, even to him that is poor and of a contrite spirit, and trembleth at my word.
And the Lord gets at any man that wants to put his wealth above his spirit, above his soul. In the scriptures, Yahweh said, what hath a man to gain? You know, from gaining the whole world and losing his soul. You know, there's something, there's significance to your soul. Matter of fact, the Lord dealt and told us that we are his prized possessions, his first fruits. Alright, so you really messed up when the Lord sees you higher than you see yourself. It should be equal. And again, he don't put us, he puts us on a platform. And as long as we endure and continue, we can be a part of the elect. And the elect are pedestalized. The elect are cemented in the governing body to rule in the kingdom of heaven, along as joint heirs with Yahweh. The elect have this very significant, important roles, just like priests had important roles. They was elevated above, right above the average man. All right, and so the status of the elect, the ones who endure, is going to be elevated. But at this moment in time, it's not showing that. What shows is your spirit from within. And the Lord wants you to do that examination, that self-reflection. He wants you to, He's giving you time to do it. He's giving you precepts to do it. Muster up enough, balls pretty much to examine yourself daily, man. And acknowledging when you're going off, you ain't right. One more time out.
Yeah, going back, Isaiah 66 and verse 2. And it says, for all these things have my hand made, and all those things have been, saith the Lord. But to this man will I look, even to him that is poor and of a contrite spirit, and trembleth at my word.
All them other things don't impress you. How about you? He created you. Imagine trying to go to the Lord. That's why he said, look, I care nothing more about your feast days and your sacrifices don't good, man. Matter of fact, it's become a smell in my presence. How's it go? Yeah, a stink, man. I don't even, when I smell y'all sacrifice, I don't even want it because I know the spirit that did it. The spirit that did it so damn wicked. And he think that you good now. You treated this, turned it into a mockery of my grace, of my mercy. You turned my mercy into a stage of buffoons, man. Because now you can commit to this idea that you could just, all I gotta do is just sacrifice shit. I'm gonna do it anyway. That's the do it thou wilt spirit covered in fringes, man. You got that word?
This is the word, simple Google definition for the word contrite. Feeling or expressing remorse or penitence.
Penitence, feeling, expressing remorse. Again, this the really how I said, repent for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. We're supposed to be acknowledging and getting ready by showing the Lord that we know exactly where we went on. Not going to cap, lie about it. The whole society want to lie about it and not keep it real. We understand we got to keep it real. If you don't keep it real with nobody, you got to keep it real with Yahweh Shah and his elect. All right? Again, the word contrite.
Feeling or expressing remorse or penitence affected by guilt.
All right? So take yourself down a notch, Understand that where you stand in the eyes of the Lord is that you need salvation. The only way you can get it is if the Lord allows Yahweh's blood to cover you. Because of your own righteousness, you lose.
God.
You lost that battle a long time ago. Your own accord, your own works, you lose that battle. There's many who believe that they Israelites, but they're going to lose the battle to their own pride. And they're going to lose it to their own arrogance. Because they've never submitted to Yahweh. And this time of calling, this time is for Yahweh this time is for you to have that reflection time to get closer to Yahweh. And it's a cleansing process. When you are apologetically contrite, you come to the Lord about that. And he what's the word? He forgives you of that. Right? You're qualified now for forgiveness. So now you can come clean to Yahweh when he returns. It's all about a cleaning up process. Matter of fact, the word say, wash me, make me clean. Oh, you holding it? Go ahead.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 1 and verse 16. And it says, wash you, make you clean, put away the evil of your doings from before my eyes, cease to do evil.
That's what the world do. They don't acknowledge their sins. They just go ahead and do it, and then as long as another day comes for them to do it, they're going to do it again. And that's Ecclesiastes 8:11. Was it 8:11? 11:8? Somebody, whatever.
Yep, it says, again, Isaiah 1 and 16, and it says, wash you, make you clean.
That's how you escape. The world going to filthy water. All right? You can't be dirty. You're not going to be in the mirror. That's ceremony when you come outside. You got to clean up right clothes. All right? So acknowledge that. There's certain things you shouldn't do. Certain things you shouldn't say. Certain things you shouldn't even exhaust your energy and involve yourself with.
God.
As a matter of fact, go the opposite way. There's another way. Take a detour. Learn the art of detour. Detour the hell up out of that situation.
God.
Get around it. Go ahead.
It says, wash you, make you clean, put away the evil of your doings before my eyes, cease to do evil.
Hey, that's what the evil going to do. It's going to make you dirty. And the Lord don't want you to do that. He didn't call you back for you to be remain like that. So there's a change that happens, and it continues to happen. We are like men. This is likened unto a fire of our affliction. Through our afflictions, we are on fire and melting, where the impurities is separated from the purity, and the impurities get separated. So the more hardships you go through, the better off product comes out of that fire, if you can endure through it, if you maintain through it. So that's why I understand you're gonna get challenged every day. We are in the midst of the fire. We're in the midst of Babylon. That lets you know what time it is. Are we saved? No. So you gotta go through this, getting clean and washed up face, and then continue to go through. This the marriage. Every speck gotta be taken care of.
Yep.
It says, learn to do well, seek judgment, relieve the oppressed, judge the fatherless.
Hey, the way you relieve the oppressed is right here through this
Beautiful.
teaching, through this word. All right, the oppressors, they got heavy conscience on them about trying to be liked by the world. They don't need that. They don't need to think like that. The oppressors have a consciousness of trying to be the best family man. They don't need to think like that.
Or catch up to the place. Yep.
You know, the oppressors thinking like, I ain't got enough money to really fit into this, or look how they gonna look at me with my beard, or the oppressor don't need to think like that, man.
God.
The oppressor need to be what's the word when you free somebody? There's a different word. Basically, free, long story,
Emancipated.
Free, emancipated.
Liberated. Yeah.
Yeah, liberated.
Liberated.
This is a liberation time, man, for the elect, man. So they can get out of this way of thinking that's clouding the real benefit to having this truth. So that you can know what you're doing wrong and walk away from it. You can actually step away from it after you send up them prayers for forgiveness. You can actually now step away from it. You're aware, right? Let him finish that definition real quick. Synonym. Contrite. Go ahead.
Con. It says a broken and contrite heart, and these are some synonyms, in sackcloth and ashes.
Hey, what matter of fact, Ecclesiastes, I think it's 7. It's better to be in the house of mourning than the house of mirth. Right? Now, that's heavy. That spirit had me thinking about that all day this week. You know, because they got this idea that you can't be sad or you can't be depressed. Now, the world's version is different than our version. We are the elect constantly depressed. Lot was vexed. A vexation is gonna throw you off. If you think you're gonna be the perfect citizen in Babylon, and you thinking about how wicked or evil this place is at the same time, they don't mix. So you either gonna continue to think this place is wicked, which it is, and you're right. That means you're gonna act different. That means eventually that's gonna give you a austere motherfucker. Eventually, you're not gonna laugh at them jokes no more that they tell you. Eventually, you don't wanna hear no more of that shit.
Yeah.
Eventually, your fitting in ways start to deteriorate. You know what I'm saying? It
Yeah.
Your walk different.
Yeah.
Gray and narrow. Right?
I know me and the brother always said, we was me and the brother Albert riding back from Cal, brothers go talk about the hell you catch. There's only two people that exist in this society, and it's D&D. Either you delusional or you're depressed. And only the men of the Lord are really depressed. Everybody else is just delusional as hell. You thought smoking weed was gonna help. You thought drinking was gonna help. You thought a woman was gonna help. You thought that degree was gonna help. You're just delusional because you obtain these things and yet you're still depressed. Me, I'm just depressed because I understand that I'm in my hell. I'm going through my judgment. So we're in the house of mourning. It's better to be in the house of mourning because now we have things to look forward to. These people have nothing to look forward to, man. These people are delusionally depressed, but we're just depressed, man. But these people are delusional at this point, man.
If I may add,
Yep.
even Yahweh Shah said he was a man playing the streets. Because he knew what he had to do upon the planet Earth. When he came upon the planet Earth, he had to die, and he knew he was going to rule. Under the damn Romans, it's similar to the shit that we on now, man.
And then the script say, think about Yahweh Shai when you go through your temptations. Somebody who had to deal with the
He was acquainted with grief.
no, he had to deal with the contradictions of sinners.
Oh, con.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he had to deal with these people talking shit
Yeah.
the entire time, and he knew he was the Messiah, and then he knew them people was going to be the reason why he had to be killed. Imagine, you know what I mean? That's a heavy.
That's irksome.
Man.
That's irksome.
Yeah,
That's a hell of patience.
Right. So you already know when they say he coming back like a lion. You already know. Man.
Yeah.
You know what that means. He had to suffer through that, man. To like killing him in the space, man. It's not demons on you, and he was the Messiah. Right? Or setting them up. He could hear their thoughts, how they coming and pretending to him, but they really was trying to kill him.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
I mean, how shot when he comes back, man, he going, man, it's gonna be so much. It's gonna be so intense with the amount of slaughtering that going on and destruction. And he coming back all powerful with the host of angels with him. It's not gonna be fair at all for Esau. They're gonna look like a hyena, you know what I'm saying, versus a cat. A pit bull versus a baby.
Yeah.
He's just gonna slaughter him.
Yeah.
Because he got that on his mind.
Yeah.
Fresh. So we that's another reason why we can at the end of the day we can reason and say like, well, we don't want no parts of that either.
At all.
What's that dude say? Is that, you want some of this too, old man?
No.
No. We know in that situation. No. No. When we see how y'all did Yahweh Shai,
Yeah.
well, I brought this, we the elect and when we see how
No
y'all
parts
deal
of
with
it,
Yahweh Shai, we know he coming back with great vengeance. Fierce anger.
If I may just back you up on that point, one verse is Isaiah 47:3. It says, "Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet as a man."
I will not meet thee as a man. In the way he taking vengeance. So now we got to incorporate that. And the world don't know nothing about no vengeance, man. They like some all-forgiving freaks. They weird. That's weird, man. Nothing, no vengeance. Somebody came to your mama house, kicked her, all right, beat her down, stole something, and then you see him the next day, and he said, look, bro, I was tripping. I'm sorry. That's not good enough, man. No, you got to give this back, that back. You got to requite things. Okay. Equity is in the scriptures. Justice is in the scriptures. If we had no idea about it, then we could say, yeah, sure, Esau, you all right. As long as you don't do it again. No, but equity exists. Justice exists, man. So that man got to be put down. And the Lord said he's going to come back like a lion this time. So it's going to be way more fit. We want to be a part of it because we share that similar energy. We see it now. Yahushua was did dirty. Got out.
To back you up, 2 Thessalonians chapter 1 and verse 6. Seeing it is a righteous thing with the Most High to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you.
Yeah, you want to get back those that put you in persecution, put trouble on you. You want to get that. You want it hastily too. You don't want to have to wait. That's what makes our hearts sick. That's where the real, depression or anxiety and all that come from. We really want to launch at you Edomites, man. Right? A thumbnail, just a brother.
Yeah.
Right.
And then Jake.
You know? Yeah. You
So
see the Jake that jumped over?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, that judge.
Yeah. He's cleared the
Yeah, he cleared that motherfucker.
And that's up there too.
And he probably ain't
Nah,
did
yeah.
that. And he probably played no sports coming up.
I gotta check his lineage, man. He might have had. It might be spiritual power, man. You know, it kicked in the overdrive. But that's the type of energy that we can connect with Yahushua, man. When he comes back, man, completely just wrecking like a wrecking ball. And Babylon needs it. There ain't gonna be nobody, because the scripture tell you that everybody gonna have to give an account for what they did and their works. It's an account. So it's actually gonna be equal to what you did. If you was a scoffer, it's gonna be equal to that.
Got some real quick. This is the book of Ecclesiastes 16 and 11. If there be one stiff-necked among the people, it is marvel if he escape unpunished. For mercy and wrath are with him. He is mightily to forgive and to pour out displeasure.
Break it down.
If I just add to your point, you're going to get everything you sowed. You're going to reap everything that you push forth. And what did this guy push forth throughout the whole planet Earth? Destruction, wrath, and death, man. You know, and for a lot of our words, this guy, he thought he got away through the way of the Renaissance, through the way this guy changed in history. But the Lord basically is going to pull up your tab, man. You know, Yahweh Shema Shai is really just going to call you back on the actions that you did in your past life, man. And it's well deserved at the end of the day. You know?
I got something for you real quick. Back book. Colossians 3 and 25. But he that doeth wrong shall receive the wrong which he have done. There is no respect of persons.
And in the Lord, he don't care who you is and how Shema Shai is going to judge you. A perfect example, Eli. Eli brought up Samuel. Eli taught Samuel the ways of the righteous. But just because Eli had a respect of persons, he respected his sons more than the will of the Lord broke his neck, man. Now, does that mean is there any unrighteousness with your high Shema Shai? No, man. The Lord just said if you do evil, you're going to get it back, man. Even the evil that we done. You know, that's why we're in slavery and captivity today. That's why we are a nation that's acquainted with griefs, man. Because we the one that put the Lord through the BS, man.
Yeah.
You know? That was it.
Anybody holding anything?
I got the Ecclesiastes 8 that you called.
Hey, but even in you saying that, no one can really resonate with the grief, the amount of grief that we're acquainted with. That's why everybody downplay. They speak lawfully of it because the Lord ain't putting these heathen through what He putting us through, man. We feel it over and over daily, you know. To a point, it's like after catching so much hell, you gotta consider the Yahweh Shema Shai. Like, God damn, Jake. Like, Jake is a stiff-necked people. Like, after all this. If you go into our histories from Esau, I'm just talking about from the history that Esau give you from the slave ships forward. You just been catching hell. It's like, bro, I'm tired of this shit. I'm gonna just look towards the Lord at this point, man. It's like nobody understands. The more we cry out, the less they hear us. It's like shit. I gotta go tell the Lord on you, man. That's it. That's what it done got to. That's the point it done got to.
Hey, you know what? That's a baby. Realizes, or a young infant, or a child, toddler, realizes that Brian ain't gonna have nobody
God.
You know, or he noticed the moment he noticed you as a child noticed that you crying ain't gonna make your parents come over here and brush your knee off with wrong. They gonna baby you.
God.
Right? Now the crying stopped, and then the next level is realizing, damn, whatever we got, we actually deserve it.
God.
There it is now. We separate equally. Again, they go that equality and that justice system that the Heavenly Father. Look, we here because the Lord carry out justice. And therefore, was that Jeremiah 49:12? We are actually here in this condition because the Lord carries out justice. So now we owe it to the Lord only to cry to Him, right?
God.
When we do cry, it's gonna be only to y'all how much we're really capable of changing our situation. Instead of to get some world, you got it.
Because Jeremiah 49:12, it says, "But thus saith the Lord, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup, have surely drunken. And art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished?"
All right, so when you break it down, it's they whose judgment is not the drink of the cup. Now the cup symbolizes what? Captivity,
Judgment. Yep.
judgments from on high, the wrath of the Lord. Even in the book of Revelations, you want to deal with when you deal with the MOTB and you take it. In chapter 14, somebody got that real quick. When it talks about drink without mixture. You know, what is this whole idea that you get in drink? You have to drink something. Well, that's what it's like in the two. You know, the Lord actually makes you drunk with afflictions. He gives you so much afflictions that you can't even think straight no more. Now imagine you drink for real, you get drunk.
Yeah.
You ain't really thinking straight. You ain't gonna want to straight. That's the proof you can't think straight.
You don't want things to.
The Lord would make you drink all of that what's in the cup to make you drunk off of whatever's in that cup, depending on what's in that cup, and that's what you deserve. So everybody gotta sit there and drink. The Lord say drink, you drink. Now watch what's in the cup for those that take the mark. Go ahead.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 14, verse 9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, "If any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his charagma in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High."
Same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High. You go ahead and get the mark. That's coming out. That's all right. You get that incision, you get that cut, you get this identity, right? That radio frequency, so that you can buy yourself, right? But then the judgment of the Lord is going to get passed down to you, and that's in the form of a drink. Again, that part of the drink.
The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High.
So your drink is going to be filled with the wrath of the Most High, right? By way of fire, complete destruction, international, intercontinental right? That arrow, all right? That mighty arch is going to shoot, coming out of the solid, right? Coming out of the quiver, that bow launched over here, that glittering sword in the sky, that iron spear, that iron, weapon flying over here, and then detonating over here. That's a part of the portion of your cup that you're going to drink for taking the mark. Simple. So we learn about equity. Every cause is a cause, has a reaction, has an effect. Cause and effect. The cause and the effect. And you got to say throughout the Yabashim for simplifying it for us so that we can see and walk as cause and effect. We really, as we walk in with wisdom, we're applying that aspect of the scriptures. So there's going to be a cause, there's going to be an effect. If I do this, what's the effect if I do this? We calculating all day long. Spiritual calculations. Should I? No. Should I? No. No. Okay, come on, let's do that. The Spirit gonna lead you. Well, it was not for us to drink in the cup. Come to find out, we was always supposed to be the children who the Heavenly Father set up. We're destined for crowns. We destined for rulership. We're destined to inherit a kingdom forever, everlasting. Well, we weren't allowed. We weren't allowed to keep the laws that made perfect. So naturally, we went into captivity to fulfill that part of the law, to fulfill that part of the curse. That's the obligation. That's the contract. That's the agreement. Right? So that's why the scriptures tell you not to vow a vow. You don't go around making promises and vows that you can't keep. Here's the biggest example of it, right? Is that we had to go through captivity. We're going to keep it. That's where mercy come in, because now they're going to be perfect. Go ahead, what is it for us to do?
Come. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation.
Pour it out without mixture. So when you get a mixed drink, it's going to be a lot lighter. You can sip on that 10 times longer. You can sip on 10 of those before it might hit you, maybe 3, 2. Okay. Lower it down a little bit, right? Because there's a jig out there that goes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did fit 12. Well, we should do it, but what we know is a mixed drink is going to be lightened up. But the Lord said this will be without mixture. So it's going to tormentation is coming. And that fire and brimstone, that's going to be fire. Why is the Lord going to use that? Will it make sense? You think the method that used the first time with water, this time with fire, right? It's a cleanser. Water's a cleanser. That's the same concept being brought back. A cleanser. Fire is a cleanser, right? So He's going to purify the land, right? The land can be cleansed except by the blood of Him. So multiple things are going to happen in the midst of this fire. It's not just how terrible are the Chinese that they want to do this to us, or how bad. That's the most basic level concept that you can think is going on when you think about World War III. That China over there, big mad that we put tariffs on. Russia over there, just big mad that that Ukraine is. It's the Lord's dealings. He about to cleanse this whole land by way of this fire. It's needed for cleansing. It's needed for these people to be restored again. It's needed to take out all this filth. All this junk that we're talking about refraining from, it got to be destroyed. So that you ain't going to be able to touch it in the kingdom. It's not going to exist. Whereas Esau, the one who perpetrates these drugs out here, these philosophies, he perpetrates this kingdom, this land with his wickedness, opposes it. He's going to be subjugated and go into captivity and slavery. Matter of fact, it says it. Go ahead.
He shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angel and in the presence of the Lamb.
And let's grab ways in Job 22. Yeah, the fullness of his sufficiency. But we need Esau to be wiped out and destroyed. We need Yahweh Shemel to cleanse and eradicate this earth from this one true character, this misfit named Esau Edom, man, who goes around the world, waging wars, committing all type of evil, and then hiding his hand. He throws a stone and hides his hand. He's corrupted. He's a corrupter of all good things, good natured things. So the Heavenly Father going to do us the biggest favor that has ever happened. He's going to deal with Esau, wipe them out after the slavery. And the Yahushua known as the King of Terrors. You got what I'm talking about?
It's the book of Job 20, verse 20. It says, it's like verse 22. It says, in accordance with sufficiency, he shall be in straits. It's the book of Job 20, verse 15. It says, he shall swallow down riches, and he shall vomit them up again. The Most High shall cast them out of his belly.
Just like Pharaoh, we left with those riches. We're going to leave, we're going to inherit Esau's riches and all of that wealth. So we actually go ahead and store it up for us. So you got to give it up. That's a part of you losing your rulership in your kingdom. More proof you're going to lose his kingdom. You got to give up all these riches. What's an Edomite without being rich?
Nobody, man.
What's an Edomite without money, man? A double loser. That's what the apostles they calling them.
Yeah.
They were double losers. You kind of feel a certain type of way of the Edomites around you, and you ain't got no bread.
Yeah, God.
Feel some type of way, man.
Oh, well, you get away from me. Yep. Yeah, get away from me.
Man, go on. Like, you can't help it. You talk,
You talk to him kind of different.
Because this your world, and look at you. Look at you. You mad.
Good, big man.
You want to argue.
It says, he shall suck the poison of asps, the viper tongue shall slay him. He shall not see the rivers, the flood, the brooks of honey and butter. That which he labored for shall he restore, and shall not swallow it down.
So we going to be rich. Wealthy, right? The forces of the Gentiles, was this be added unto you? All right, forces going into wealth. All right, Lord got us with a big bag.
Yeah.
Take care of in a long time, extended amounts of time to deal with. Pleasures evermore, things not seen, right? Can't be explained. You can't really wrap your mind around it, even if somebody told you.
Hey, how do Esau make his greatest money? His tourism is simply Esau making money off of the Lord's creations. Because all of the tourism that you see are really you got Yosemite, you got Yellowstone, you got Nakalula Falls, it's always a natural, it's a lake, it's something God given. It's something Esau can't make.
Grand Canyon.
Yeah, Grand Canyon. Esau make money off of that. Don't you know it's people that would pay a state to have that for their backyard. That's wealth right there, just to be able to have that particular view. That brings about a better spirit, a better thought. The whole nine, just a view. That's wealth, man. We're gonna have that again. That's why the Lord said that Esau should have the fatness of the earth that goes into the choice plush places, man. Because hey, Birmingham's a good looking area, but the areas I done seen that Esau be staying in, man, it can't. Hey, we can't compare the spots we get to live in compared to where he stay. But you got it up.
Yeah. In due time, man. Yeah. He even sells you us water, man. This whole it is water. You know, the most resourceful thing in the world. You done mess it up, and now you gotta sell it. But go ahead, now.
It says, because he hath oppressed and hath forsaken the poor, because he hath vowed to take away a house which he buildeth not.
Yep. America. Over here naming names, and the spirit had me thinking about Christopher Columbus today, and how, you know, this guy Hitler got all this bad rep for doing what anybody would have did in that situation. When they was ransacking the country, but he got this bad rep. You know, he was Jewish, but he got this bad rep. And here it is. Columbus got a day, man. Still got a holiday. How many more millions of people is Columbus responsible for killing than Hitler? The thing is that nobody has sympathy on these tribes.
Okay.
You can't expect, because we were set up here to be a scapegoat. When you look into how most societies are set up, big empires are set up, they always got a class that is a scapegoat class. When you go into India, they call if I'm not mistaken, they call it Dalit. Oh no, the personables or something like that.
The undesirables.
The undesirables.
Those
I think they also call it Dalit.
Yeah, it's a name for it.
It's a dark skinned race of Islam or whoever, you know, in India, Islam or Elam, and they are the subjected class. They're the class. If anything bad happens, they go to, just like Nero with the Christians in Rome. If anything bad happens, this will be blamed, and they work on top. They build on top of this subjugated class of people. So oppression always comes with every society, every kingdom. We those people. We the ones that get casted at the bottom. We the ones that if something go bad, just play continually. News, turn on the, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock news. You're gonna see about all the murders, but you ain't gonna hear about none of the white collar crimes, nothing, because they need to keep that class, right? You in a class, you know, they need to keep you as a scapegoat. Well, we ain't gonna have to worry about that no more, man. It's a new time coming, it's a new day coming, revised, changed situation, perfect the situation. It's always cast it out, and it's going to cast out with the fire. You want this place to be on fire. That's the beginning of your new life. You get to look at yourself in a new light. Your teen, your people restored again. Your children back to their health. Your wives back to their health. Right? Israel back to his health. Fully restored like a strong man, not a crouching lion. So we need this place to fall. Go ahead.
It says, surely he shall not feel quietness in his devil. He shall not save of that which he desired.
He desired it, that he continue on. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever. He wants to be this mastermind that goes into the stars, and have it in other planets like we're supposed to. He wants to be us. Even when the stars were still our identity, while we wasn't looking, right? While we was asleep. We was technically asleep at that time. The Lord said he ain't bring us here that he would destroy us, right? We are set over here in captivity that you would be destroyed. This is a check, right? This is a situation, a time of reflection. This is a grace period, right? We got jacked up, man. But look at how meaningful it is that you can spiritually, you closer to the Lord than you ever been. Spiritually. By way of these precepts, through instruction, through correction, through doctrine, sound doctrine, something formidable you can stand on, a foundation, a clearer mind now, right? A lot of your problems got solved by these precepts. All of your problems get solved by these precepts. It's a precept for every problem. And you in Babylon, you're supposed to be bugged out, backwards, tripping, right? People walk by you every day looking at you because you ain't bugged out as they are.
Okay.
Bless the Lord got us in this truth, man, to restore us. He going into how we gonna be back as kings, crowned. Go ahead.
God, it says, there shall none of his meat be left, therefore shall no man look for his goods.
Meat is his prosperity, he ain't gonna have it. His meat is wealth, he ain't gonna have it. Right? His rulership, his reign, his authority goes. It's wiped away, clean slate. Now you back at the bum of the earth, the lowly and the base man that you actually are. And once you're in that position, there ain't no crawling out of that cage. You will forever permanently be that man. And then you have a period where you're just gonna be wiped out. Lord gonna deal with you. So, when it comes to Esau, man, that's the worst position you possibly could. Now he's ruling the world. How much more is these lies prominent, man? The lies are prominent. Most people gonna believe on the lies that Esau spread because he don't want the world to find out about himself. That doesn't change the fact that you still the Edomites. You're still gonna pay because you lied about it. Who is Esau? Am I Esau? Is that Esau? You over here lying about it. But still, Lord don't know who Esau is. That's all we need. That's all we need. We just know that the Lord knows who Esau is, and we believe it's you. Go ahead, Al.
Yeah, real quick. The book of Job 20 and 27, it says that heaven shall reveal his iniquity, and the earth shall rise up against him.
There it is. It's truth coming out. It's exploding like wildfire, and you're trying to put it out. Channel interruptions, Wi-Fi disconnections. Brothers are going live, right back. You can't even find them. Live.
Yep.
All right. Why? All to hide a lie. Same satellite you put in the sky. You fall into your own traps and your own snares. Right? The same satellites get beamed, and then this word these are digital epistles. They get sent out. Audio visual epistles. And brothers get edified from it. Now we all can see and point to them. Go ahead.
This is Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, chapter 10, verse 30. The poor man is honored for his skill, and the rich man is honored for his riches. Going to it out. Verse 31 is the point. He that is honored in poverty, how much more in riches? And he that is dishonorable in riches, how much more in poverty? And that's Esau. We see how he conducts himself in his riches. He could have this world as a utopia, but he chooses not, because he's showing you who he is, because the Lord set him up to be what he's doing. The wicked, man. There's no reason with all of this technology on the planet Earth, there's no reason any of us should have to get up and go to work and labor day in and day out. But up under the devil, hey, we have to labor day in and day out. That shows his dishonesty, man. All right, so I read back. It says the poor man is honored for his skill, and ultimately that's going into the men that you see before you. Lord willing, we be at that number. We should be honored for our skill because of the breakdown. Right? And the rich man is honored for his riches, as the brother was going into. What is Esau without his riches? Really, what is Esau without his riches? He's a murderer, a robber, a thief. You see him for what he is. But because he has the riches, you kind of you keep that to yourself. You keep it to yourself because you hoping for filthy lucre. You know, Jake is looking for a handout, as long as I don't call him out on his wickedness. Verse 31, he that is honored in poverty, how much more in riches? It says he that is honored in poverty, these brothers, LeBron James, how much more greater, how much more of would we understand of LeBron if he just wasn't dribbling the basketball? But you see what the lady said on the news. Hey man, shut up and dribble. So we'll never know how great his mind could have been. You see? But he's honored because of his skill. And Esau tell you to be quiet because of the money that his skill has brought him. So it's the money that's honored. The Lord is continuing, it says, and he that is dishonorable in riches. You see, that's the only reason we even take heed of Esau, is because it's riches. You know how you got him, but the entire world is taking hold of this taking hold of the dollar, so we got a deal. It says, and he that is dishonorable in riches, how much more in poverty? So he's a thief right now. You see him stealing. What more when the Lord debased this guy? What will you really expect for him in Jacob's trouble when the Lord takes the veil off him and he really shows his knickers? Do you expect him to show you equity and show you justice in that day? No, he's gonna show you his true horns. He gonna get busy and do what the Lord set him up to do. And that's a scary thought within itself, man. But you got it up.
And with that, we're gonna close it out. This video was edifying, giving all glory, honor, and praises due.
Hey,
double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone, rule well over the flock. Shalom, salutations, until next time. Shalom.
Shalom.
Right now.
Spirit had it.